There are people who love us so much that they are willing to stay the whole night in the cold, just to make sure we feel at ease when we wake up. But when we realize it, sometimes they are no longer there. This is the story of a quiet husband, a wordless love, and a morning the heart can never forget. Don't wait until it's too late to realize who truly stayed for you. Under the eaves of a small house in the middle of endless rice fields, there lived an old couple who had been together for over 30 years. He was a quiet man, working in the fields all year round, while she was often nagging, yet always waited for him each evening with a warm meal. In his younger days, he wasn't good at saying words of love. He never gave flowers, nor knew how to write love letters. Instead, he chopped more firewood so their home would always be warm, and woke early to cook rice so she could sleep a little longer. She knew he loved her, but her heart was often uneasy, not because he had changed, but because time kept passing and his silence made the distance between them feel longer. He lives with me like this, but who knows if he still loves me like before? She blurted out one rainy afternoon. He looked up from his bowl of rice, eyes deep and shadowed from a long day in the fields, and softly replied, "If I didn't love you, then what would I wake up for each morning?" But her doubts still lingered. One day, the cold arrived earlier than usual, and as she watched him tending the fire, she spoke half jokingly, half seriously. "Tomorrow, before the sun rises, I'll get up and go out to the front yard. If you're out before me, I'll believe you still love me. If not, then maybe my worries are right." He paused, looked at the flames slowly rising, then nodded gently. "Then tomorrow, I'll be out first." That night, she went to bed early, pulling the blanket over herself completely, half waiting, half sulking. He didn't sleep. He sat beside the dying charcoal stove, holding his old coat in his arms, eyes gazing out at the backyard, where the two of them used to sit and drink tea when they were young. He thought, what if I fall asleep, and she wakes up and doesn't see me? What if that makes her sad? No, tomorrow will be cold. I'll sit here until morning, so she'll never doubt me again. The wind began to rush through the eaves. The sky turned pitch black. Early winter's chill seeped deep into the bones. He pulled the old coat closer and curled up on the stone bench under the porch. His back ached, hands went numb, eyes stung from the wind, but he didn't move. In his heart, there was only one thought. As long as she steps outside and sees me already here, before even the sun. His eyes turned red from the biting wind, his hands frozen stiff, but his heart stayed warm. All night long, he sat there, silent like an old piece of wood. Only one thing echoed in his mind. She will see me sitting here in the early morning, and she will understand that I have never left the love I have for her, not even for a single day. In the dark room, she tossed and turned. Sleep wouldn't come. From time to time, she pulled the blanket higher, then lowered it again, glancing out the window, counting each star. "I'll wake up really early," she told herself. "I'll go out to the yard and wait. So he'll see I still love him just as much." Before the sun had fully risen, she put on a wool sweater and, trembling, opened the door and stepped into the yard. The cold hit her face. The fields were still veiled in mist, the wind gently rustling through the dry trees. She looked around. No sign of him. She stood silently for a few seconds, then slowly walked toward the stone bench under the porch. The bench was empty. The stove was out. No warmth remained. A lump rose in her throat. So he didn't come. Maybe I was wrong. Her voice was a whisper, as if she herself didn't want to believe it. She sat on the edge of the bench, her hands clasped together, freezing. Even so, I still love him, even if he didn't come. But something didn't feel right. The morning air was strangely quiet. She looked again toward the firewood stove by the side of the house and saw a small bit of ember still faintly glowing. Then she turned her head toward the windy corridor where the old wooden chair he always sat and each night stood. Something small lay quietly at the foot of the chair, nearly blending into the gray soil. She bent down, trembling, and stepped closer to the wooden chair. There on the cold tile floor, He was lying, curled up as if asleep, but in a sleep she knew he would never wake from. His arms still clutched the old coat, his eyes gently closed, his face pale from the cold wind. The charcoal stove beside him had long gone out. There was no warmth left. No breath. No, my dear, she whispered, her voice breaking before collapsing beside him. Wake up, don't joke with me. I was wrong. I know I was wrong. She shook him, trying to pull a blanket from the house to cover him, her hands searching for any trace of warmth still left. But all that remained was silence. She rested her head on his shoulder, tears soaking the edge of his shirt. And then she saw a small object in his hand, a wild daisy, the kind she used to tuck in her hair when they were young. The flower had wilted, but he still held it as if it were treasure. And beneath the chair, there was a crumpled piece of paper, the writing blurred by dew. I don't need to prove anything. I just want you to know I'm always here, even when you're no longer sure. She embraced him, her whole body trembling. You foolish man, you stayed out all night, just to prove something I should have believed, even if you did nothing. The wind swept through the porch. The sun had risen. Gentle light spread across the rice fields ahead, the very fields he used to cycle through each day and return from in silence. And now, there was only eternal silence. Love doesn't always need to be spoken. It needs to be felt with the heart. There are those who aren't good at expressing themselves, who don't know how to use sweet words to ease our worries. But they love through their quiet presence, through unnamed sacrifices, through choosing to stay, even when no one asks them to. We often demand proof. We test because we're afraid of being left behind. But sometimes it's that very doubt that pushes away the ones who truly love us forever. True love isn't in grand promises, but in the one who's willing to sit through the cold night, just so we can feel safe stepping out into the morning. Don't let what truly matters be proven through loss. Because there are some people, once they leave in silence, they will never return, even if their hearts never left us.